Alright, what's up everyone, Duquesne23 here, and today I'm bringing you a race tutorial. And as you can tell, I built myself a very small little racetrack. It just ends right over there up against the cliff. But yeah, I just made this really fast so y'all can see. And naturally, you know, one of the first things that you need to remember whenever making a racetrack is make it smooth. So I'm not doing a tutorial on how to make a racetrack, like how to actually physically make the blocks themselves. This is how to set up the Race Gametype, but I'm just telling y'all, make sure you make your racetracks nice and smooth, and aesthetics always look nice. You know, this is a tutorial, and I always put aesthetics on everything, so. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this. One of the first things, you need to remember to do is the initial camera. Always put an initial camera on your map. No matter what map it is, put one on there because it's just nice to have it on there. But okay, so the first thing that you need to do is place initial spawns down. Now you don't need to do anything to the initial spawns. They are literally just the default initial spawns. Neutral team, make sure it's neutral unless for some reason your race has teams. But yeah, you don't do any type of spawn sequence or no game type label. If you do have a map that has Slayer on it and race and other things like that, make sure you do put the game type label to race. So these spawns will only appear whenever you know, the race game type is put up on there. But if your map is literally only a racetrack like this is, then you don't have to worry about putting, you know, a game type label as race. You just no label, because these will be the only spawns that will be on this map. So I would suggest everyone on every single map you ever make, I would suggest putting 16 initial spawns. Now I only put 4 here because this is just a tutorial thing, but always put 16 just in case someone wants to actually race with 16 people. So I would definitely suggest every single map put 16. Find a way to do it if you have a roller coaster or something like that. Just find a way to put 16 initial spawns. Now the next thing you need to do is where your initial spawns are, you need to put a respawn point. Now it's the same thing. There's nothing going on, no game type label, no spawn sequence, no nothing like that. Just a default respawn point, and put it somewhere around your initial spawns. Like you can put them all behind like this or something like that. You know, it doesn't matter. Just put maybe, you know, like 4 or 5 or something like that, depending on, you know, how difficult your map is and how, you know, many people are racing on it, or, you know, will be racing on it most likely. Just because the reason why you do this is, let's say this ground wasn't here so people can't get back up. There's literally fall off to your death or something. Before you hit this first checkpoint, you know, if someone falls off and dies, then they need a respawn point to be able to respawn before they actually get to the checkpoint. So, you know, it's just something that, you know, let people respawn on the map, because if you don't put a respawn point and people die beforehand, then they will randomly spawn somewhere and most likely not even on the map. So yeah, just remember that. And also, if you do not have any like way of someone dying before the checkpoint, like if I had like a wall here or something like that, like if I had like a little wall, oh my gosh, magnets are on. If I had like a wall right here like that or something, you know, going all the way around up until the first checkpoint, then you don't have to worry about putting respawn points because people can't die before the first checkpoint. But now let's go ahead and get to this first checkpoint. The first checkpoint I use is a race gate, which is race checkpoint arch. And how you get to race checkpoint arches on the field, just all you do is have to hit X, which is place object. Let me back out of this, and then go to structure, then go to decorative, and scroll down, and it's right there, race checkpoint arch. And then there's a large version of it, but here I'll grab the small version. The large one's over there. And the good thing about race checkpoint arches is that they already come with a hill, so you don't have to worry about putting a hill down or anything like that. So that's really nice. But what you do once you place it down wherever you want, you hit X on it, go to advanced, and put it on spawn sequence 1. Your very first checkpoint is your spawn sequence 1. That means it will be the very first checkpoint to spawn. And put the game type label to race_checkpoint. It originally starts out as no label, and then you just move it over to race checkpoint. It's very simple. So then we go ahead and back out, And also with this new game type, with the new race game type in Master Chief Collection, you have to actually place respawn points down. So if you notice, I have 2 respawn points here. Now, the reason why they decided to do this is because of the fact that there's a lot of times in past Halo games where a lot of people die at one spot. Like, everyone is trying to spawn on that one spawn point that's on that checkpoint. And so a lot of people, you literally are just piling up, and some people are falling over and stuff. So now you can place multiple respawn points in near a hill. You don't have to place it inside the hill. You can place it just around the hill. And so now people have multiple places to respawn at. And you don't have to do anything to the respawn points. You know, it's still spawn sequence 0 and no game type label, at least if it's only a race map, the map that you're building. So now, you know, go up and along the track, and let's go to our second checkpoint. If you notice, this one does not have a race gate. It actually has a generic hill, which, how you get to the generic hill is you just hit X to place object, and then you go over to objectives, go to zones, and generic, and there you go. And make sure you switch the generic to whatever you want. Like, you could change the cylinder, the radius, the cylinder to a box, or none, which that doesn't make any sense. Why would you put none for a checkpoint? And then, of course, change the top to make it taller, the length to make it, you know, a little bit longer and stuff. But that's how you do that. But that is also, that will work. And how you change it to a checkpoint is you just go over to advanced, and this is spawn sequence 2, because this is the second checkpoint in my racetrack. And then you go to race underscore checkpoint. And just make it that on the game type label, and there you go. It's good. You know, that is my first checkpoint. That's why that's spawn sequence 1. This is my second checkpoint. This is why this is spawn sequence 2. And if you notice, I have respawn points in a box right here. I'm just trying to express that you don't have to always make it just a single line. You can make it into a weird shape, or you can make multiple rows, you know, like 3 rows of checkpoints or respawn points if you want. Which you don't need to do that, but if you want to, you can. So now let's go ahead and go to this third one. This is the race gate large, or race checkpoint arch large, and it's the same thing. You just hit X on it, advanced, and it's spawn sequence 3, and the game type label is race underscore checkpoint. It's very simple. The spawn sequence 3 just means this is the third checkpoint to spawn. And then you need to also, you know, place respawn points down. So right here, I just put 4 across, you know, the center of it. Now, you know, you most likely won't have to put more than something like 4, you know, respawn points on there, unless you have some crazy obstacle up ahead that a lot of people are going to die at. So then I would suggest putting more. But besides that, you don't really have to put that many. You could probably just put 2, and that would be enough. So also, guys, this will be the very last checkpoint in my current race right here. So that means once I pass through this, it's lap complete, and then the very first checkpoint will spawn again, and I will have to make my way over to that. So just make sure you make a nice loop. Of course, I didn't put, you know, checkpoints. And if I would have continued with the race, then I would have most likely put a checkpoint somewhere like right here or something like that. So just remember that. But guys, that is it. That is how you set up the race game type on your map. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this made sense to y'all, and I cannot wait to see all of y'all's race maps and everything. Really excited for it. But also, guys, don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials and custom maps, and let's forge a new Halo.